I am standing in the middle of the road in London. Like, this doesn't happen. But look, interesting times. Today is Wednesday the 14th. The Queen's coffin arrived back to London yesterday, and I'm here for work. I've got to do a talk for the National Theatre this afternoon, and I'm also doing a talk for Barrett London this evening. We were going to do another Vox Pop video where we ask people's opinions about what's going on around cost of living and some other generic questions, but to be honest, I've never been in London with it being this quiet and this somber. So those questions don't feel like they're the right questions to ask. So instead, with the Queen passing last week and her her coffin being brought to Westminster later on this afternoon, we're going to ask people how they're feeling and how the Queen has impacted them, and then we'll get on some more relevant content on the channel later on. In the meantime, let's go. I'm going to walk in the middle of this street because I've never done this before. Okay, so we've walked along South Bank to get here, and we were speaking to a group of police officers, and they said that there is a queue for people to essentially just, pay their respects to the Queen. All the way down this road, right, if you can see that, and further down past St. Thomas's Hospital, there's a massive queue of people already. I have never, ever, ever seen anything like this in London. So what we're going to try and do is find people in the queue who wouldn't mind maybe saying a few words and giving us their thoughts on why they're here and how they're feeling about, obviously, the Queen. We've got a new king. Maybe we'll talk about that as well. We found a lovely lady from Liverpool who's travelled down today to witness this. I guess this is history. Tell us why you're here.
Well, I'm here because obviously the Queen, I'm 69 now, and the Queen has been my Queen all my life, really. And we're never going to see this again, are we? I just felt she's worked so hard all her life, giving her everything to the people of this country and the Commonwealth. We're just giving our bit back. So we've come down this morning and we're booked to go home tomorrow morning. No accommodation, but we thought we might be queuing all night, but we're prepared to do that. Yeah. She's worth it.
Hopefully we keep the weather kind of where it is right now, in opposed to...
Got my pack of Max in there, so I'm prepared.
You came prepared. What are your thoughts on Charles now?
I'm very happy. I think he'll make a fantastic king. He's been in training for such a long time, and if people had listened to King Charles 30 years ago, we may not be in this position with the situation that's happening in the world at the moment. So I think he'll be a great king, and he's got great support.
I cannot not be here. It's something I've got to do.
And what does she represent in your mind?
She was my boss. She was the boss of all servicemen. So no matter what, whether you were the lowest private or the chief of the defence staff, she was our boss. So you've got to pay our respects.
And what did you do in the forces?
I was a cook.
An important role nonetheless. Troops have got to be fed.
They actually said that in 2019 at the on Remembrance Sunday, when we marched past the cenotaph, the commentator said one of the most important regiments in the army Catering Corps.
I would agree with that. We've got to eat. We've got to eat. What are your thoughts on Charles now that he's going to be king? Well, he is king.
He's king, yeah. He will do a good job. He follows his mum, and he's been doing what he does for years, and it will carry on. Life will carry on. He will carry on, and so will the rest of his family.
And I think, in saying thank you to the Queen today and you doing that, I think we should probably say thank you to you for what you've done during your career in the services. So thank you.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
I've been fortunate. I've met the Queen. I've done the World Championships, athletics, and I was part of the media delegation, and I was a VIP driver. So to go to the palace, and as I was telling the lady here, I didn't think I was going to. I was just the lonely driver. But they said to me, "You're part of our delegation. You come." you're part of the athletics family. So I got to go into Buckingham Palace, but I stood at the back. I didn't come to the front. I let the delegation go. But suddenly the door, when the Queen came in, she was talking to the delegation, but her corgis had come. So the corgi come right round the room and come to my feet, and I started petting it. And it was kind of sniffing me, and she said, the Queen stood up and she said, "You've got a dog, haven't you?" I went, "Yeah, I've got a little cockapoo." And she got up and then she came over and she started chatting away to me. So she left the delegation. I felt really honoured by that. So that's my thing of the Queen. That's
One of the things that I think has been abundantly clear from people who have spoken about her in the media over the last few days is her warmth,
Yeah.
and how even though she is the Queen,
Yeah.
she almost been very down to earth. Was that your experience?
Yeah, I felt, and her smile was radiant. She was smiling and she chatted away and she made you feel so at ease. And that was the thing I was saying was because I was terrified inside. I'm meeting the Queen, and she made you feel at ease, and that was a really good thing.
Yeah.
So that was the best thing about it.
And what's your thoughts on now King Charles?
Well, see what he does. He's got to follow the Queen, who we've known all life, so he's got to take up that reign. If he goes along the same route, I've still got to respect he's a monarch, but he's got to walk himself and show the people how his heart looks.
Yeah.
So he's got to open up.
Yeah. Big shoes to fill.
Sorry?
Big shoes to fill.
It is after 70 years and at a late time, but he should be well versed in the procedures and policies, I hope.
Why are you here? What does this represent to you?
This is it's part of history that people want to witness. You know, this has been something that everybody, as people have been saying, the Queen has been part of people's life for many, many years, and this is part of history. And one thing people are not realizing is she's been in charge for 70 years, and looking at back when she was coronated, it's she is the shortest apprentice in the UK at the time. But now Prince Charles, as King Charles, is also the longest apprentice in the UK, because I've never seen anybody being apprentice for like 70 years.
That's very, very true.
Yeah, so it's something that he's been there and he's done what he has to do, he's learned the trade, and I think he's going to do well for now, because if he doesn't, he's going to mess up the whole monarch for his children, like William and Kate.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter whether people like William and Kate, for them to be in charge, it depends on what the king does at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is something that we all have to respect and then pay a tribute to the Queen and the royal family and people in our families that we've lost.
Yeah.
Also are remembered at this time in point.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
Yeah. So I was speaking to a couple earlier. They came up from Liverpool and are like, "Look, we're prepared to be here for 7 hours, however long it takes." Are you prepared for the fact that this might be a very long wait?
Yeah, I am prepared, but you know what? Unfortunately, as I go here, I just realized that I got doctor's appointment 3:30, and then I have to go and then come back. So as soon as I got my tag, I'm going, and then I'll be back again. But hopefully, it should be all right. Yeah.
Good man. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you, man. There's a lot going on. What's your views on obviously the Queen passing and the new king?
I guess it feels like a turbulent time. Like there's a lot of different views going around. You have people who kind of really loved her as a figure and felt really close to her and are kind of very like grieving over that and feel that loss. But then you also have, I feel like especially amongst young people, like other conversations happening about the like colonial past or the imperial past. And I think it's a difficult time obviously because she was such an important figure. But I don't know, I guess it's like trying to stay respectful and appreciate the fact that she's still like a person who died and like respecting that and respecting her life and her death while also being aware of those conversations and not being like blind to that.
Yeah. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know, I just think it's really interesting how many people are here right now.
Yeah.
Like we came to see all of the people queuing up
Yeah,
to
we
go into
walked-
we walked past Buckingham Palace and saw all the people like
Yeah.
in their deck chairs, like, or like all that woman who like went round in Edinburgh like 17 times to go and touch the Queen's body, like.
Yeah.
The level in which she like was a real person and just like an old lady who's died, people are like, I think people are losing that level and they're just thinking it's like this like big like religious like ceremonial thing. They want to like touch the corpse and it's really weird and like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting that people are still like, we're like modern and enlightened and rational, but like people still have that energy of like, oh, the Queen has died. This is like a big religious ceremonial mystical event that they have to be part of.
It's interesting because we've spoken to a lot of people who are in the older generation, and they feel like they've grown up with the Queen, so they have that almost emotional attachment to her. And I guess you guys are relatively, you're younger, and you probably see the world in a different light. What do you think the new king has to do to, I guess, modernise the idea of the royal family and the monarchy?
Well, I guess kind of going back to my previous answer, the Queen has those links to the past, right? She's been around for so long that she's seen so much of history happen. And then, so it's felt like it was okay to kind of cling on to that because she was this figure that kind of linked it all together in an era. Whereas now it feels like there is a kind of a need for like moving on and like embracing the fact that we are modern people in a modern world. And I think that like talk of kind of what like place does the monarchy have now, it changes, I think, from the Queen to the current king because he's coming in, he's kind of ascending the throne at a time where it's so much more important to be aware of the different conversations that are happening.
Yeah. Would you say?
Yeah, I just think this is the end of kind of that idea of what monarchy is. Like, I think the Queen represented something for like all of those people of generations who like growing up with her, and for us because we'll like remember that like for the first phase of our lives that was what it meant to like be British and have that be part of your identity. And like I think because the Queen like feels like a like connection with like a time when monarchy was really important and when Britain was really globally important, when the sense of like Britishness was so tied up in like monarchy and tradition. I don't think we're going to get the same thing, and I think that's like a thing that's been lost, and I think that's like the loss that people are feeling now. I don't know. Like I don't think I'm gonna like have the same type of. Not like I cared about the Queen that much, but like it was like I just like kind of passively accepted like this is an important and kind of stabilizing thing and like what it means to be British, and that's gone.
All right, so we come a little bit further down the queue. So this is by Lambeth now, and the sheer volume of press down here is actually quite astonishing. There's a lot of TV cameras. So we're going to see if we can grab a few people in the queue here on this side of the queue, and see what responses we get.
She did us proud, bless her, even up to her last days. Just a prestigious, historic moment, although it will be emotional as well. I think still a lot of shock about. At the same time, a lot of people forget she's a family woman. You know, she's a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. So it's lovely to spend with my twin brother here, Jack.
Yeah, same for you.
Yeah, historic moment, lovely city, biased, but greatest city in the world for me, London. There's history all around us here. We're going to witness some more history later today. Hopefully later down the line, once she's sort of laid to rest, we can celebrate her life as well as obviously take a moment and just sort of take it all in and thank her for her 70 years of service.
Yes. And what's your views on the now King Charles?
So far, so good, to be fair. People, when you strip it back, he's human, he has feelings, and I think he's done tremendous. He's sort of 73 years old as himself, and he's been phenomenal. The speech the other day brought a tear to my eye. Leading by example, so far so good, and hopefully at some point he will have time to sort of grieve for his mother.
Yep.
Yeah, just leading by example. I mean, first impressions are everything, and it's a strange, obviously, time for everyone, especially with a new Prime Minister, but he's leading by example. So onwards and upwards, and like my brother said, important for him to take some time out with his family and grieve for his mother, and then get on with the job of being king.
Just managed to find a seat in the queue. I'm joined by two lovely ladies. What's your name?
My name's Ruth. I'm
Ruth?
from Stony Stratford near Milton Keynes.
And you?
And Laura from Bournemouth, Dorset.
Okay, so how long have you been in the queue for?
So probably about 4 hours now.
Okay. And you?
Yeah, same amount of time. I think we got her at 7:45. So
So you were early birds more than anything else.
yeah,
Are you
we didn't expect to be this far in the queue, though, I don't think.
okay? Are you prepared to be here for much longer? Like they're saying it might take an hour. We've got a couple down the road. Like we think we might be here for 7, 8 hours. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, to be fair, we thought the last train that I could get tonight was 11:35, and we thought we probably wouldn't make that. So I think we're going to be well before that. So anything before that would be good.
And you?
Sorry, what was the question?
Are you prepared to be in the queue for maybe 7, 8 hours?
Yes, absolutely. You know, the Queen, she served for us until she was 96. So if I just have to be in the queue for a few hours to pay my respects to her, that's okay.
Good. What does this whole occasion kind of mean to you? I mean, you're obviously in a queue, waiting to pay your respects. What's the personal significance and relevance to you? How did it, how do you feel about it personally?
I was brought up to be a royalist. I remember, like, my grandparents, whenever the Queen or royalty was on TV or the national anthem was sung, we'd have to stand up, and So I've right from being a child, and I'm 56 now. She's been part of my life since I've been a child, and I just loved and respected her, and I just find it so sad that she's passed away. Although we knew it was coming, it's still been a bit of a shock and very sad.
Yeah. Would that be the same for you?
Yeah, to be honest, probably not so much with the royal family, with my own family, but I just think when she died, I was overcome with emotion that I didn't really expect. And I thought, I've got to come today. And we would have liked to come for the funeral as well, but I thought it was just going to be so busy. Probably today was the day. And when we got here, like I said, I was so shocked to see that, because on the news it's been saying 30-hour queues and everyone queuing overnight. When we got here, there was literally 500 people in the queue, 600 people. So we were like, wow, we're really pleased.
And what are your thoughts on the now King Charles? Do you think big shoes to fill? Obviously, what are your thoughts?
I think he's going to be really good. I think already I don't know, I didn't expect the public to sort of take to him like they have, I don't know. But everyone seems to be right behind him, and he just looked so, just like he was made for it, really.
Comfortable.
Yeah, he did, he really did. He looked comfortable when he was shaking everyone's hands, and I just thought everyone looked like really interested to see him, and I was so happy that they were, because I thought it must have been horrible to walk out that initial time and think, what sort of reception am I going to get?
100%. And what about you?
Yeah, similar. I would, we've lost our rock in the Queen that we've had for so long, and it was always going to be a hard act to follow. And I couldn't quite imagine Charles as king until he became king, and it just seemed to be a natural progression. And I'm really impressed by the way he's conducted himself so far, and Camilla. And I think we're in safe hands, and he's been trained by the best. He's had the best role model, so I hope that he'll continue in the same vein as his mother.
All right, further down the queue now, we found, what's your name?
Yasmin.
And,
Sophia.
okay. So why are you here today? Obviously in a very long queue. Have you been here long?
Since 8 a.m. It's
Okay.
about 4 hours now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you prepared for the long wait that it might be?
Yeah. Well, I think we're not too far from the front, so maybe we're being optimistic. But I think it.
And we've got lots of food.
Yeah, we've got loads of food. Yeah.
So, not going to lie, we've spoken to a lot of people who have been older. You're probably some of the youngest people we found in the queue. Why are you here? What's your view of what's happening, and why you're looking to pay respect to the Queen?
Well, I think it's just a massive day for the whole of the UK, and we both grew up in London, so we thought we'd come down and just, it's a lot of change, so we thought we'd come and see what was happening and also pay our respects, obviously, to the Queen and the royal family. But yeah, just more of it. It's a monumental time. Everything's about to change, so.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo a lot of what Yasmin said. I think it's like there's going to be like before the Queen died, and there's going to be after. I mean, obviously in a literal sense, but I mean the shift in discussion like about the royal family, and I think our society more generally, I think will be really interesting to see. So I think we both wanted to come down here and like kind of, it's interesting just to like, I guess, the feeling in the queue and like speaking to people and like
it's very interesting to hear like the opinions of people that like I guess you wouldn't really like meet otherwise, and yeah, hear their views. But it's just, I think for us it's maybe more of like a point in history than necessarily about, I mean, obviously it's a sad moment, but it's not necessarily about the Queen herself, but more about
And what do you think of the now King Charles? Big shoes to fill, is the sentiment I've been getting from a lot of people in the queue.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I think the Queen was very popular globally, and I'm sure Charles will do his best, but we'll see what happens. And I'm quite neutral towards him. I don't, so yeah.
Same?
Yeah, I would say the same. I think he has a lot going against him at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the challenges ahead.
Brilliant. Thank you, girls. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers. So it's safe to say this has been a different episode to what is normally here on the channel. And to be completely honest, we were going to ask people questions about cost of living and some other general type things that impact us on a day-to-day basis. To be completely honest, it just felt inappropriate given the mood in London right now. So it's been nice speaking to the general public and people sharing what the Queen means to them and has meant to them in their lives. And we've captured maybe a little diverse views from younger people as well. But one thing I will say is that, I think ultimately we as a nation, as a state, we've lost a very important person that meant a lot to a lot of people. Now, I've been racking my brain throughout today trying to figure out how I actually tie this into money, because we talk about money and investing here on the channel. And I'm going to leave you on this note, which will be an interesting, fun fact to tie this all together. Now, did you know that the Queen's estate will pass to King Charles III with 0 inheritance tax? I'm not here to kick up controversy, but I'm here to explain why that is the case. So the Queen's estate is essentially deemed to be owned by the state and not as an individual. If it was owned by her as an individual, then there will be 40% payable on the estate. But because the assets are owned by the state, it will pass to King Charles III with 0 inheritance tax. Really, really interesting fact right there. So let us know in the comments whether you enjoyed this video or not. Let us know how you feel about the Queen, what she means to you. I think it's palpable that there's a somber mood in the city and across the nation. And yeah, I felt it today driving through. I'm at a National Theatre right now. I've got a workshop to go and do. So you'll capture a little bit of footage of me doing a little bit of workshop there. Cheers. Catch you later.